I'm Paul Johanni, retired high school social science teacher. And for the last 20 years, I have found that art has been my sanity. Well, when the pandemic hit, I went back to my shed and I found this scrap glass and started breaking it. And years ago, when I first got it, I made a couple things, but I said, well, I'm going to see what I can make with this. So I started making some bugs, and using what I had. This is just regular steel wire. And so I had a piece of glass, and then I would bezel the piece of glass because they're all different shapes. And then I soldered every intersection. And then I made legs, and I had to solder the legs on. And so the first spiders were kind of crude. And it took an awful long time to make one spider, but it was fun. And as I started making those, I started refining the process. And one day I was up at Great Northern Shopping Center, and there was a arts and crafts store that went out of business. Sale, 50% off or what. I went in there, and they had a whole rack of all of this colored wire. Wow, all I'm using is this. And look at the colors that they had. So I literally bought all of their colored wire because it was on sale. And if you bought 3, you got a free one. So by the time I ended up, I was paying something like 20 cents on the dollar for these wonderful wires. So the spiders then became more colorful. And so once I am refining the process, by the end, I think probably the second, this was when pandemic hit, this is when this all started. And so by the end of the second week, I had a box of spiders. What am I going to do with spiders? And unlike my other artwork, which I have in consignment shops, I sell that. I said, you know what? I am not going to sell a spider. I have to give them away. These are going to be ambassadors for kindness. A thank you for being kind. And so I started. And every day I try to go for an hour walk, and I like to walk on Huntington Beach. And I noticed that as I walked, I always looked eyeball to eyeball to the people, and 90% of the people refused to look back and make eye contact, and bothered me. People were isolating themselves. And and so I looked for kindness on the beach. And if somebody looked back at me, I'd smile and say, have a nice day. And occasionally they would stop and make a comment, and we have a little conversation. And I always thank them for their conversation with a spider. I want to thank you because with the spider, if you adopt a spider, you got to feed it. and the only thing that spiders eat are smiles. And it gives them an opportunity. I says, you know, anytime you look at the spider, don't remember me. Remember what you did to make me happy. Your kindness is what makes you a nice person. And as you go out, just be nice. It was a winter day a year ago. I went to Huntington Beach. And it was a bright, sunny day. And it was after the storm and all of the ice out on the lake. So I pulled around and parked my car. And as I was getting out of my car, I noticed that the husband and wife and a little girl, age of about 5 or 6, as they were approaching the steps to go down to the beach. So by the time I got to the steps, the man and the girl were already down at the bottom of the steps going out on the ice. And the woman was standing on top of the stairs. And I says, you know, isn't today a beautiful day? I said, I really needed this, son. And I had a nice, quick conversation with her. And I says, aren't you going to go down and play on the ice? And she says, oh, no, I'm not going down there. I'm just going to walk up here. So I says, okay, have a nice day. And I went down. And I walked all the way to the west end of the beach, which is my normal walk. And as I'm walking, the only 2 people on the beach, aside from me, was this guy and the little girl. And they were up on this big ice mound. And I watched them, and I said, you know, that is beautiful. Father and daughter out in nature they were having I could hear the little girl giggling and the guys laughing. And it was beautiful. So I passed them, and I walked my normal way all the way to the east end of the beach, and I normally go back up the steps. And I got to the end, and for some reason, and I've never did it before, I turned around and I looked at them, and I said, I got to go back. And so I walked back, and as I approached them, they were still playing up there, and they started coming down, and I said, you know, I admired father and daughter playing there. That made my heart feel good. And then the little girl starts, well, my daddy told me when he was a little boy, and she's rambling on, and I'm laughing. I say, did you wind her up this morning or what? And he laughed, and I says, you know, I want to reward your kindness. So I said, come up to the car. I come up to the car, and I opened up the back of the car, and she sees the boxes of spiders, and her eye goes boom, you know, like that. I says, would you like a couple of these spiders to take home for yourself? Yeah. And I says, okay, I got a container you got to pick out. So she picked out 2, and she said, I'm going to give one to my sister. I says, oh, you got a sister and you're going to share it with her? Yeah. I says, you know what? Let's pick out another one for your sister. My brother, too? I looked at the father. He says, 8. And I says, well, I need a bigger container because we're going to pick out one for everyone. So by that time, Mom comes. You know, what's going on here? We're in the middle of the parking lot. And Mom comes up, and I says, well, we're picking out spiders. And I handed her one of the sheets. And she's reading down, and she got to the end. She looked at me, and she says, I need a spider. I says, well, you know, you get to pick yours. She says, no, I really need a spider. I read this, and I want to tell you something. I was having a bad day today. Your conversation at the top of the steps touched me. Your little bit of kindness is what I needed to get my head on straight. And having a spider that I can smile at every day is what I need. And then she says, do you mind if we do a prayer? And so the four of us, pandemic, close in, we put our arms around, and she gave the most beautiful prayer I've ever heard from her heart, thanking God for the sunshine and all of these things. Then she started on me. The kindness, and driving home, this is the way I felt. Better than that, you cannot feel. So how long am I going to give away spiders? Until I no longer can make spiders, because there may be one more person that needs a spider. 1,488 spiders have been given out. The book, I have this little, this is what I record on. Then I have here every spider that I have given out since number one. And those that get back and give me a name, here's one by the name of Barb. Her spider's name is Sid. Now, I can't remember all these people, but at times I refer back, And so this is what brings me happiness. And if we can be a little bit kinder to everyone, if you have your mask on, you still can blink your eyes. And so I'm always looking for new and different places to adopt out my friends, and hopefully that, it would be nice if each day, each spider got fed once. That's 1,500 smiles. As of today, I have given away, let's see what numbers up there. 1,440.
Wow.
Pardon?
How long did these take you to make?
It takes about 45 minutes each one.
Oh, we need to film this, you guys.